My number one game of the year, though, of course, probably no surprise here if I chose that game almost. What is going on, guys? Mike here with Chit Chat Gaming. It's hard to believe that 2022 has come and gone. We've had some good games, we've had some bad games, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, but overall though, it's been a pretty damn good year for video games. What I want to go ahead and do here today though, is kind of every year I usually go over like my top favorite games of the year or game of the year, but this year I want to do something a little different. I want to go ahead and give you guys my top 5 favorite games of the year. Keep in mind that this is my list. These are my opinion anyways, games that I have played. It may be different than your games or your list as well here too. This is not overall the best games of the year. This is just my personal games of the year. So with that being said and that out of the way, let's just go ahead and let's jump right on into it here. So my top 5 favorite games of the year, starting with number 5, is going to be a game that just recently came out from a new studio, Striking Distance Studios, and it is the Callisto Protocol. This game had some hate and so forth, some mixed reviews and such. I've talked about it before in a video, but this game for me has been a lot of fun. I'm not going to do a complete review on this here. I'm not going to spend too much time. Just want to go ahead and give you guys why I think it's probably one of my favorite games here. I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the combat once I got used to it. I thought the game graphically looked amazing. The story itself is not nothing, groundbreaking, but it is a lot of fun. And if you like games like, Resident Evil, mixed with some Dead Space, but more like Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4 with more action, then you're really going to like this, because this is a survival horror mixed with action as well here too. I really think you're going to enjoy this game if you give it a chance. The $70 price tag does kind of make it a little bit steep. It may be a game to wait to go on sale. It's about a 12-hour game here, but again, I've had a lot of fun with it. I think this is a next generation game, and that's one of the reasons why this is on my list here. But overall though, the games that's on my list are games that I put a lot of time into, or that I put some time into, that I thought was really good and held my attention, and this damn well is definitely one of them, but the Callisto Protocol being in at number 5 here. My number 4 game of the year here is another action game here, another action adventure style game. Not really so much a horror survival. I guess it kind of is anyways, and it is going to be Evil West. This year I got on the PS5 here. This game is just a lot of fun, man. If you are into the cowboy western style action beat 'em up games like Red Dead and so forth, and all those style games here, and it's just a lot of fun, man. It's definitely a game that you're going to sit down, sit back, play. The story is pretty good. There is some bugs here and there, of course, but again, though, the actual gameplay itself is where it's at. It's got a lot of mechanics, the same as, a lot of other action games where you have so many different abilities and such that you can get, that you can upgrade. A little bit of RPG elements and so forth, but for the most part, though, the combat is what makes this game so good. There's so many cool things you can do with the guns, with the power glove and everything you have as well here, too. Seems like all these last 2 games anyways all have like some kind of certain glove that does something, but this is the same way you can pull enemies towards you. You can pull them back. It's crazy, but again though, the game is a lot of fun if you're into, like I said, the action style action adventure games, where you're going around just basically fighting different kind of creatures and zombies and monsters and so forth. A game is definitely for you if you are into that here. So again, number 4 here is going to be Evil West. Coming in at number 3 of my game of the year is a game that a lot of people are probably going to be really shocked to see, and it is Final Vendetta here. Yes, it's a Nintendo Switch game. It's available on other platforms as well here too, but this is an action beat 'em up style game here. So if you're into games like Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, Final Fight, a whole huge laundry list of Ninja Warriors, etc., whole huge list of beat 'em ups, and you're really gonna dig this game. This was one of my favorite games. I love beat 'em up games. I love the style. The art style is great. The actual fighting is great. The combat's fighting is excellent. There's a challenge to it as well here too. But one of the biggest things I really loved about this game is going to be the soundtrack. The soundtrack takes me back to the days of games, like I said, like Streets of Rage and so forth. It's just a great soundtrack. It's available on Spotify and everything else. And again, I really think if you love those type of games, you're into the beat 'em ups, you're really going to dig this game. I could not wait for this game to come out. It took me a while to get on physical anyways here, but again, I had to wait, and it was definitely worth the wait, as it is definitely a fantastic beat 'em up style game. Again, number 3 is going to be Final Vendetta. Coming in at number 2 here is a game that I have been playing since the Wii U. I really enjoy it. My kids love it. It's just overall a great multiplayer game. It actually won a game of the year here for best multiplayer at the Game Awards, and that is going to be Splatoon 3. I grew up, as far as, playing multiplayer style games and so forth. So for me, dipping into something like this was a big difference on the Wii U, but I've loved it ever since. Splatoon 2 was great when it first came out on the Switch back, I believe, 2018 or 2017, one of the two. But again, though, Splatoon 3, hell of a lot of fun, so much more added to the game here, new maps and such as well here too, a lot of different improvements, but overall though, what a great experience this is. If you're into multiplayer games and you love, something a little different, instead of actually shooting, you're splatting people with ink, the Splatfest and such and everything else, this game is just overall a lot of fun. If you played the prior 2 games as well too and you enjoyed those, then again, you're going to need to come back for this one, because there is, like I said, some new maps, some new weapons and so forth as well too, some new modes, etc., and a lot of different updates and changes that they made to the game. But overall though, man, Splatoon has always been one of my favorite series ever since the Wii U, and I was glad to see it come out again this year. So again, coming in at number 2, for my game of the year is Splatoon 3. Alright guys, so coming in at number 1 here. Yes, we're down to number 1 now. It's very, very close because I don't usually put a game that has like a collection style game on my list of number 1 here, and I came really, really close to doing that with TMNT's Cowabunga Collection. I mean, for me personally, holy crap, man, these games spoke to me. I grew up in the 80s and the early 90s and so forth, and these games were the ones that I played the most of. So this whole collection here is just absolutely fantastic. Had so much fun with it. It almost was my game of the year, guys. Almost. If you love these style games, the arcade style, the old NES and such games, and you're really gonna love this. So this is definitely an honorable mention at number 1, almost anyways. So my number 1 game of the year, though, of course, probably no surprise here if I chose that game almost. And it's going to be TMNT's Shredder's Revenge. Oh my god, I waited so long for this game here when they announced it. I cannot wait to play it. An action arcade style game, much like the original games as well here too, much like the NES games, the early NES games anyways. I could not wait to get my hands on this game. Casey Jones in it, Splinter's in it, April's in it, all the Turtles. Just an overall great experience here. Games like River City Girls like that. It kind of got Scott Pilgrim. It kind of reminds me a lot of that, where it's a traditional beat 'em up style game, but it has a story. It has the upgrades in it as well too. It has everything that the original TMNT arcade games have, plus with like more modernized for this era here as well too. But overall though, what a fantastic game. And the actual collection itself, I mean the actual physical copy itself has a lot of great goodies in it as well too. But with that even being said, I picked this game up digitally when it first came out. I picked it up on Nintendo Switch when it actually came out physically, so I have 2 copies of it pretty much. But again though, man, this game here, it was up for several awards too at the Game Awards this year as well too. I think it deserved something. It didn't win anything, but overall though, man, what a great game. I believe it was up for multiplayer game of the year as well too. But either way though, this game should have won like a beat 'em up award for the year, because man, it's definitely a lot of fun here. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan and you're a fan of the beat 'em up style games, I guess like Scott Pilgrim and so forth, a little more modernized, then man, you're really going to dig this game here. So there you have it, guys, my top 5 games of the year here for 2022. Like I said, your list may be different. My list doesn't consist of games like God of War. I have not played God of War Ragnarok yet. I'm sure it's great. It won a crap load of awards here at the Game Awards. And a game like Elden Ring, it's not my style of game personally. I'm sure it's a great game. It won Game of the Year even here. But again, though, I kind of am doing something a little bit differently here. I'm going with my personal games of the year. So again, my collection, my list may be different than yours. So let me know down below what your top 5 games of the year have been for you personally here. Any of the ones that I've talked about as well here too, or are they your own style games? So again, make sure you guys sound off down below here. Make sure you guys like the video if you choose to. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on that bell notification to keep up to date with all things that is Chit Chat Gaming. And as always, guys, I'm ready for 2023, ready for another list of games to go. So as always, guys, happy gaming.